Hello you guys, it's Kate with the Book Kate. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you guys are here. Today we are going to be talking about all of the books I read in January. So if you like bookish content, please go ahead and subscribe because I'd love for you guys to stick around. I had an amazing month. I had a fantastic reading month in the month of January. Literally, I don't know if I could have asked for the year to start off better. It was so good. I read a total of 10 books. I have 5 of those books physically, and then I read 5 books off of my TBR. And so literally, I was just killing the game. I killed the game. So we are just going to hop right in. The year started out amazing with Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This was a 5 out of 5 stars. I was so close to finishing this in December, but it just didn't happen. But I'm not mad about it just because I started out the year with a 5 out of 5 stars. I started out the year with a bang. This is the last book in Emily McIntyre's Never After series. And if you haven't read these books before, they are fractured fairy tales where the villain gets the girl. This book follows a woman named Vanessa, and her nickname is Urch or Ursula. And so obviously Ursula gets the prince in this book, and it is so fun. This book had me laughing out loud. Vanessa's uncle owns a very popular and a very lucrative construction business, but it's low-key related to the mob. It's like a little southern organized crime situation, and she is her uncle's bird dog. He's literally like, Vanessa, bring me these bitches, and she will. She gets tasked with showing her cousin's fiance around their small town. This book is just so fun. Both of them are crazy. Both of them are, they're crazy, but the things they will do for each other is just perfect. I love when the heroine is just as unhinged as the hero, and that's definitely what happens in this book. Check your trigger warnings, but the quotes that came out in this book, perfection. It's really long, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, so it's easier to fly through that way. And then to another book where both characters are absolutely unhinged, we have Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. And now this was also a 5 stars. You're gonna hear everyone tell you to listen to this book on audio, and I 100% agree. The audio for this book was perfection, and it had me kicking my feet, eating all the shit up. I loved it all. This is a stalker romance. It follows a girl named Allie who is on the masked men side of TikTok, and she sees this hunky man, and she sends it to one of his videos to her friends with benefits, and she's like, hey, can we do this? And he's like, no, never contact me again. And he ends up showing his roommate Josh, and Josh is like, holy shit, that is me. But low-key, he thought Allie was really attractive when she was banging his roommate. And so he is a super genius, writes a little code, finds everything she said, and has commented on his pages. And he breaks into her house and films a video. And it goes from there. They are both completely unhinged. It is amazing. Check your triggers because it is trigger heavy, and it was so kinky. I haven't read a book this kinky in a while, and ooh, it got me going. It was great. And then I listened to Weston by Rhea Morris Edwards, and I gave this a 3.75, 4 stars. I think I rated it so high because the first book in the series, Sovereign, was horrible, and so my expectations were on the floor. I checked this book out from my library, and I definitely wouldn't recommend book 1. Sovereign, absolutely not. But Weston, I did enjoy. So Weston follows a dark cowboy named Weston who is unhinged, and he sees our heroine, whose name I have forgotten, but he sees our heroine, and low-key he falls in love with her. And the heroine's brother is a piece of shit, and he kind of sells her to this other farmer because the city's gonna take his farm. And so this farmer's like, I'm gonna protect you if I can have your sister. And he does some horrible stuff to her. And so what does she do? She runs away with Weston, and he heals her like so much. Like, he is just so sweet to her. It was so cute to see their love story. And the way Weston would steal all her old animals from her brother and give them to her, I was squealing. I really enjoyed this book. It is a kinky, dark cowboy romance. I would also check your trigger warnings on it. And then I read Lucky's Trouble by Misty Walker, and now I absolutely enjoyed this book. It was 5 stars. It was so fun. It is a grumpy sunshine where he's the sunshine and she's the grump. It follows Lucky and Tinley, and there is a whole thing about Tinley's name in here because I was like, bro, ew, Tinley? And then it said she grew up in a like religious, this ultra religious Mormon household in Utah, and I was like, low-key makes sense that her name would be Tinley. Like, that's a very Tinley name location, to be honest with you. But anyway, so this book follows Lucky, and Lucky's friend is like, hey, my sister is still stripping at like this horrible strip club. Can you check on her? And Lucky's like, abso-fucking-lutely, anything for you, Bookie. So he sees Tinley and he's like, I want you. I want you. You're coming home with me. Low-key, it is insta-love, but not in a bad way. Like, in a way, only Misty Walker, like, Misty Walker can take a trope I hate so much and turn it into something amazing. And that's what we get with this book. It is a motorcycle club romance. One of my favorites she has ever written. It was the second book in the Sons of Erebus series, which is a spin-off from the Royal Bastards MC series. Technically, it's a standalone, but you need to read Rigger's Mistake book 1 first. And guys, he also has 2 dick piercings. I'm obsessed. I enjoyed it. One of my favorite heroes Misty Walker has written, and so I am super happy and excited that I picked up one of these books. And then, since I was on a high from the book, I decided to pick up Judge's Mercy by Misty Walker, and this is the 3rd book in the series. I gave this book a 3 stars, but it was a very generous 3 stars. Like, low-key, I may even move it down to like a 2.5. I hated this book. And I didn't hate this book because of Judge. I loved Judge in this book. I simply hated Mila. And Mila is Lucky's best friend and Tinley's sister. So something tragic happens to Mila at the end of Lucky's Trouble, and Judge kind of falls in love with Mila. Like, he starts taking care of her and is being there for her, and Mila treats Judge like a piece of shit. And literally, she was just like unhinged in a bad way. Like, I felt bad for her, but also I was like, you gotta get it together. Like, what happened sucks. I can't imagine it, but I also wouldn't be doing this shit. You know, like, ugh, I just hated her. She could not see what good she had. Like, honestly, like, ugh, I can't even explain it. I literally just hated Mila. I hated Mila so much. Like, I can't tell you because it's gonna give away everything. But let me tell you, like, you read like the first maybe like 4 chapters, you'll understand what's going on, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again. And Judge deserved way better than Mila. He did. 100%, 10 times over. Judge deserved better. And then I decided to completely change my reading vibes, and I picked up Heartless by Elsie Silver. 5 out of 5 stars. Obsessed with this one. I loved it. This book follows Willa, who is Summer from book 1's best friend, and Cade, who is Rhett's from book 1's brother, and it is a single dad nanny romance, and Willa is absolutely insane in the best way, and the way she sticks up and like immediately takes to Cade's son is just so perfect. Cade really doesn't want to like Willa, but he can't help but to melt when he sees her with his son. This book is super, super sexy. And then there's a caretaking scene in here because Willa gets sick and Cade just, I melt. This book has me melting. So perfect. I can definitely see why this book is a favorite in the series. And then I picked up Powerless by Elsie Silver. And now this book, I gave it a 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't bad. Reading it directly after Heartless was probably a horrible decision because there is no way this couple could ever compete with Cade and Willa. This book follows Salome. So she's related to the family that the series is following, because she's their cousin. And then Jasper, who is like this broody hockey player, he was like adopted into this family when he was a teenager. So they were best friends forever, and Salome has always had feelings for Jasper, but in like the more recent years is when Jasper started having feelings with Salome, but then they were like, we could never be together, da 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 da. When I hate that. Like, I hate, like, when you're best friends and like, we can't be together, fuck off. So, like, one, like, it wasn't my favorite trope to begin with, but, I mean, it was fine. I do love how Jasper, like, broke Salome out of her wedding. That was super fun. And there was also kind of a long road trip in here. Don't really like the road trip trope. So this book was okay, but I just wasn't a big fan of anything. So... Then we have Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This is the second book in the Edens series, and it is a single parent romance, and it follows Memphis, who is running from something. We don't know what, but her and her like 6-month-old son are running. They're broke. She gets a job at the Eloise Inn, and it's an inn run by the Edens. Eloise ends up taking a liking to her, and she knows that she needs help, so she decides to offer up the apartment above her brother's garage. It is the romance between Knox, who is like such a recluse, and Memphis, who is not a recluse, and literally since the beginning, like halfway through the book, Knox was like, your son? No, my son. And it was just so much fun. I love how Knox treated, can't remember the fucking baby's name, but I loved how Knox treated that little boy. It was perfect. And like, Knox away, he just makes me swoon. Loved it. I need a chef. I need a chef in my life. That's all I could say. The last book I read during the month was Seduced by the Plug by Tatum James. I gave this book 4 stars. It was a super quick read. Honestly, the pacing was really funky, and that's the reason it didn't get 5 stars. So this book follows Nori, who is a married single mom. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's like where you have a partner, but you're literally a single mom, but you just have a partner and they're useless, they do nothing, you know? So while she's not technically married, that's just the vibe, you know, that I'm trying to explain. And then we have Jabbar, who is a single dad, and randomly enough, these two meet in a hotel in Hawaii, and they hit it off. It's crazy because, as you can tell, Seduced by the Plug, Nori, was seduced by, as my friends would say, he's not the plug, he's the outlet. He has plugs, he's the outlet though. Please. But anyway, it is just their love story. Literally, like, in Hawaii, she was like, okay, let me pay. And he's like, baby girl, whenever you're around me, you're never touching your card. Stop, I need a man like that. I really, really, really do need a man like that. It's messy. It's good. Like, the timing, like, the pacing of the book was just super funky. But it was short. There's not much I can say about it, but I would recommend it. It was fun. The last book I listened to sucked, and it was Corrupted Angel by Nicole Fox. I gave this a 2.5. I hated this book. It was a struggle, but I just kept pushing through because I was like, once I finish this book, I'll get their whole story. It'll be complete. It'll be worth it. It was not. Let me tell you that right now. It was not. So this is an accidental pregnancy romance. It follows Alexis, who is a journalist, and Gabe, who is a mob boss. And now they meet up at a club and they raw dog it on the dance floor. And she ends up getting pregnant to no one's surprise. And 2 years later, they like reconnect. And he's trying to show her, like, hey, I'm really not a bad guy. And she literally will not stop snooping. And she won't trust him. But it's like, babe, look at your track record. You're not exactly the most trustworthy person either. You know, like, I wish he kept threatening to kill her. And man, do I wish he did. It would have put all of us, the listeners, Gabe, everyone, oh my god, if he would have killed Alexis, all of our problems would be solved. Like, I wish. And then all this to find out that it ended on a cliffhanger. And I don't even give a fuck enough to get the other book on Kindle Unlimited and read the ending. Like, I really just don't care. Like, ugh. I hated Alexis with everything in me. I think I hated Alexis and Mila the same amount. Like, oh, both of those people were horrible. Ugh. Anyway, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down below. Or if not, let me know what the favorite book you've read in January was. Mine was definitely between Lights Out and Lucky's Trouble. Anyway, guys, I will see you soon. Bye.